Hi, I'm Laura.
I'm Kamali.
And I'm Adolfo. Imagine telling someone in the year 2000 that their BlackBerry would soon be able to create images and solve complex word problems in just a few short years. Now tell that same person that soon thereafter, that same program on their phone will be taking their jobs in about 5 years. This is a situation millions of Americans will soon find themselves in. It feels like yesterday when technology was just a fun new tool to keep in contact with friends and loved ones, but now artificial intelligence threatens to change the fabric of our society. As machine learning programs become more sophisticated every day, American industries contemplate replacing a fraction of their workforce with these AI models. If these companies are successful in their technology overhauls, millions of Americans will find themselves out of work and their lives in shambles. Universal basic income was a concept introduced to American politics around 2016. Treated like a radical left-wing policy at the time, 9 years ago, the threat AI will pose to U.S. labor market in the coming years makes the idea of UBI much more plausible. According to the University of Stanford Basic Income Lab, Universal Basic Income, or UBI, is a recurring cash payment to all members of the population on an individual basis without the need for pre-existing conditions. Through extensive research of UBI, I have learned how important this policy will be in the coming years. After explaining the stability, affordability, and practicality of UBI, I am sure you will be as convinced as I am that UBI is the future of American politics. 40% of business leaders are gearing up for layoffs in 2025, with 4 out of 10 of those jobs lost going to AI, particularly in the tech industry. The gap between skills U.S. workers currently have versus what they will need in order to coexist alongside AI is drastic, according to senior economist and basic income expert Evelyn Forget. Forget predicts that the change in the job market won't be that jobs entirely disappear, but rather that the demand for skills will flip so quickly that Americans won't have time to recover. A study conducted by the Harvard Business Review found that following the release of ChatGPT and image generative programs like DALL-E in November 2022, listings for jobs in writing, coding, software development, graphic design, and engineering all decreased significantly and continue to decrease to this day. Despite historically low unemployment rates, the demand for labor has slowed significantly since the 2020 COVID pandemic, according to Chief Global Strategist and Finance Expert Seema Shah. Now that we know how AI will shake up the labor market, let's move on to how UBI will help keep things stable. As older workers adjust to the changes of AI, UBI can grant a dignified retirement to millions of Americans. UBI can also give people who are currently in the workforce the stability to go back to school or to be retrained to acquire the skills needed to be competitive alongside AI. Young people today are more likely than ever to deal with mental health struggles. A 2023 study conducted by Harvard researchers Howard Gardner and Wendy Fisherman found that young adults in higher education experience particularly high rates of mental health struggles and an acute sense of alienation. UBI would provide financial stability to deal with the economic stress of AI-related layoffs. Although the price of UBI can seem like its biggest hurdle, implementation will only take about 3% of US GDP, a mark that can be reached with small increases to income tax and asset taxes to the wealthiest 1% of people in the country. Most experts also agree that UBI would work like a refundable tax credit, making legislation for the policy much easier to implement. The pilot project was a 3-year-long study in Germany implementing UBI, comparing a group of German citizens who received basic income payments monthly to a group of Germans who did not. This study found that there were almost no changes to the hours they worked each week or their productivity in the workplace. Subjects were also notably happier in their positions and changed jobs slightly more frequently due to the stability that UBI provided them. Subjects also studied and trained more in their field compared to their non-UBI counterparts, a trend researchers accredited to the reduced economic stress that they were under. Researchers also noted that subjects experienced greater satisfaction in their personal lives and in their personal income levels. And similarly to the US, Germany is experiencing massive levels of wealth inequality. Researchers ultimately believe that basic income is not a social welfare program, but rather a social springboard that levels the playing field between ordinary people and the ultra-wealthy. As we have discussed today, the effects of AI on the US workforce will likely be catastrophic for a significant portion of the population. AI is learning more and growing more capable with each passing day, and soon jobs that seemed impossible to replace will be taken by machines. UBI would help ease this transition to an automation-led world, along with providing financial stability, allowing retirees to gracefully retire, and alleviating economic stress. UBI is a very fiscally attainable policy. Countless studies have been conducted on UBI, but the German pilot project is a remarkably successful experiment, proving the practicality of basic income on a developed country's population. I am personally not sure what my future looks like with AI on the horizon. Many of my peers accept that AI taking over the careers is a foregone conclusion, but UBI is a solution that has my support, and I urge your support as well. So as the world around us starts to change into something that we no longer recognize, and as your office desk buddy turns into an AI robot, find comfort in the fact that you voted for something and a policy that protects your future.